revise the what exactly we learned. Okay, something we nothing but, yesterday we discussed about how to install ESXi two phases. One is that on top of ESXi VCSA installation. Okay, otherwise second way is that VCSA installation from executable file, like installer.executable file. So what are the parameters we given, and we discussed about what exactly the gateway we have to given, what is IP address we have to given, and what is the protocol coming to the data size and each and everything. And apart from that, we discussed about how to download the what are the versions we are available from the open source like 6x, 7x and 8x. Okay, so what is the major challenges we are facing into 6x, 7x and 8x. Okay, and how to download, how to extract from there, how to install the VCSA. Okay, and apart from that, okay, we discussed about some sort of details about into the ESXi framework, how it will be there and what are the things will be there, how the data stores. Okay, so these are the basic things we discuss. So coming to the today topic, we are going to discuss about, so yeah, well and good. So we are into the next phase. For example, ESXi is created, and the next thing is that, and we created the VCSA also created. So as per the requirement, so on top of VCSA, for example, let it be this is our ESXi. So this ESXi we created means bare metal, the bare metal we created. On top of that, what I did, I created the one of the VCSA I create. So the next course of action will be, so my requirement is that in my environment I need to create the data centers. So first of all, here what is the some terminologies we need to understand. One is the data center. So what is the data center? And the second thing is that cluster. What is a cluster? Okay, and these are the two terminologies I need to understand. And second thing is that, okay, host already we discussed. So data center and cluster, these are the two major items we are going to create on top of the VCSA. On top of the VCSA means it's something like that. Internally we are segregating the entire storage into data center. So do we have any knowledge on the data center? Why the data center is needed?
Data center is basically we can keep all the server in a particular place.
Yeah. So the basic purpose of the data center is that, okay, for example, we are keeping the alignment of the set of resources. The set of the resources will be, we are creating into the particular specific thing. For example, like yesterday example, the client having the two data centers. Okay, let it be New York, otherwise Tokyo. Okay, otherwise, for example, New Jersey. There is a two data centers are there, and the environment means the infra is, it is conducted like like a prod, dev, test. There is a three types of the environment he is having. Okay, let it be we have a Tokyo also, just we can think of that, and we have a Mumbai also. We have 4 data centers the client is having. Here the 3 types of the infrastructure the client is having the environment. So what is the best process? So for example, as per the yesterday we discussed, so the ESXi we are dividing into the number of the pods. Here I am creating the VCSA1, VCSA2, VCSA3 and VCSA4. Let it be I created the 4th thing, but it will going to be heavy load into the my bare metal. So okay, let it be we can park it aside as of now. So let it be I'm created the, let it be more than one. So more than one VCSA I created. Let it be I created the 2 VCSs. In my example, I created the 4 VCSs. So if you're going into the pictorial representation, if you can see that here, so end of the day, we need to think from the engineer end. Let it be engineer receive the, let it be engineer receive the server down alert. For example, there is a one server down is there, or you want to enhance some kind of operations. Okay, you want to perform the some kind of operation. In the moment of the time, what exactly you are going to do it? For example, there is some sort of operations. Let it be if server is down. Okay, that is related to the any one of the data center. So on top of this VCSA, what I'm going to do it, I'm creating the data center. Here one data center, here one data center, okay, here one data center I'm creating. It's a kind of virtual layer. It is a kind of inbound virtual layer we are creating on top of the ESXi. So after creating this, I'm deploying the servers. But before creating the data center, we are creating the cluster. Inside a cluster, we are creating the data center. Inside a data center, we are creating the virtual machines. So this is a cluster. So this is a data center. Okay, this is a virtual machine. So in this way, we are creating into the in generally. So why we need to create a data center? First of all, why we need to create a data center and what is the purpose of that? Why we need to create data center? That's my first question. And the second thing is that we need to just think of that, what is the use of data center? Okay, so first of all, let it be coming to the in general perspective. The client is having the 4 particular data centers we are having. Okay, so in these data centers, there are 3 types of the infrastructure client is having. So what the client is going to be doing, he make it the all the prod environment into the one data center, all the dev environment into the another data center, all the test into the one data center. It's a something like that coming to our reality, that bus stand example I said you, right? Okay, all the Hyderabad buses they are parking into the one area, all the Mumbai express Mumbai related buses they are placing into the one area, all buses going to the Delhi they are placing allocating into the one area. So what is the advantage over there? Okay, I allocated, then no issue. What is advantage? For example, if not allocated, we will come from that end. Okay, for example, if not allocated, if let it be you got a one alert, okay, stating that server is down, or some sort of operation you want to perform on top of the VM. Let it be memory increase or hardware increase, CPU increase, instant exchange, CPU, or whatever may be the operation, or patching, anything you want to perform it on top of the server. So in coming to the example, whenever you are trying to perform any kind of the operation, one is that the way of mode of operation is that connect server from through SSH, like remote. This is the one way of connecting the server. But whenever we are doing any kind of operational activities, operations, we need to have a console presentation is needed. Why the console is needed? From any idea? For example, I don't have the console. I want to perform the patching for the one server. Okay, if the console is not there, means what going to happen?
If the console is not getting so we need to
For example, we think of from our example only. Let it be coming to here in my example. So on top of ESXi, what I did, I created the one virtual server. Okay. So one VCSA virtual server I created. So this is my virtual server. Okay. Let it be, this is one of the virtual server I created. For example, whenever we are performing any kind of the activity, this virtual server, okay, is accessing from the two ways. As I said, one is that remote. Whenever I'm performing from the remote, okay, so whenever I'm performing from the remote, the peer connection will be some sort of the time it will be going to be disconnected. So yesterday example also, what we done, yesterday my graphical user is not came, okay, due to the some of the services I need to start it. So in the time what I did, I connected to the command line. From the command line, I started some sort of the services. If real-time example also, for example, there is one server, this particular server is there. This particular server, I want to do some kind of expansion or any kind of operation I need to do it. Let it be some patching. Whenever we are performing any kind of the patching, sometimes if the patch is applied or if properly not applied also, if any chance, the chances of coming the server up is very less, right? Because if server is stuck somewhere, it is expecting some sort of inputs, okay, maybe it is locked by particular area, okay. If we have a console means, okay, the console where we are installing on the bare metal, right? So this is your operating system, okay. On top of the operating system, the first layer will be your console, and whatever you are performing or the remote actions will be through this we are accessing. For example, this remote action we are not able to perform. For example, you are not able to SSH the server. Immediate action is that you need to refer the console. The console will be having the direct interaction with the server. Probably you saw that console cable, right? There is a small console cable will be there.
Yes, yes.
Something 3.5 mm jack type. Otherwise, some of hardwares it will be 45 jack will be there. Nothing but small. It's a kind of internet club. Directly, you can connect the console to your laptop also. Means we can directly connect and we can work it out. So this is directly interaction to the your hardware. This is the first layer of hardware. It is interacting to the operating system. For example, due to any one of the reasons, your server is not came up after the patching means, okay, the only option is that we need to check the console. So the companies, this console will be not accessible to the everyone, only to the data center guys. So in that time, what we will do, we are going to take the help from the data center guys. We are asking to check that is any amber light is there, okay, otherwise is any something is displaying, any error is displaying over there, okay, or what type of the issue we are facing, just we are going to explain it. Otherwise we are asking or requesting for the hard reboot or hard reset, reset of the operating system, reset of the hardware, reset of the cluster, reset of the frame in generally, okay. So that is one generally those type of the operation we used to do it. So here what exactly we need to do it means, the console presentation is a very important whenever you are going with any configuration changes. So that is the reason here what I'm going to do it in, let it be in my ESXi, I'm created the one VCSA. So let it be if I have the 4 VCSAs as displayed into my example. On top of this VCSA, let it be I'm having some sort of servers will be there or some sort of things will be there. At the time of performing any kind of activity, most of the time real time how it will be there, like a VCSA 00, 10, 12, 13, like that convention not there. Instead of touching the one data center, if you are touching to the other VCSA, unnecessarily issue happen. For example, there is a one task is assigned to you, VCSA 0010, you need to shut down it. Otherwise, you need to perform the some sort of configuration changes. For example, there is a one Ethernet is there, or there is a one changes of hard disk will be there. You need to remove it, or you need to perform any kind of technical operation. Something you need to do it on one particular server, but in a confusion or in a rush moment. So, for example, if you don't have the vSphere mechanism, what you will do? You will come here. You are seeing here, but by mistakenly, instead of 110, okay, 0010, you selected some other thing. You perform the action. Means you deleted or you added, you modified, whatever it may be. You done the things. Automatically, what it will going to be happen? The respective the data center wherever it is created, it is going to be problematic only, right? The business will be down. Okay, so from your end it is a normal server, but company end it is a one of the business, right? For example, let it be you are working for the Flipkart. Okay, the client created 4 data centers. One is for the sales, one is for the payment gateway, one is for the some other administration activity, one is for the like a customer related activity. The client said that okay Ram, you just go over there and there is some of the peripheral changes like a CPU expansions or RAM expansion or RAM reduction, you have to do it. So you log into this data center, or so you logged into the ESXi, but whenever you are performing this one, okay, you by mistakenly instead of this one you touch this one, but it's a happen a kind of human error. You are not doing the purposefully. It is happened by the human error, maybe in a rush moment, or there is some kind of the issue into the data center, whatever it may be. Happen is happen. Automatically, what it will going to be happen? It's reflecting upon your application. Your application will be immediately it will going to be down, right? Because it is not accepting the gateways. Okay, for example, in the meantime, the end user is trying to purchase the one electronic item, some of the products into the Flipkart. Okay, it is able to browsable, but payment gateway is failing. Keep on failing 1 to 2 times, 3 times immediately. Otherwise, there is a guy who paid the amount is not getting the status. The amount is paid. So automatically what is going to be happen? Number of escalations is going to be happen. It is impacting to the end user. The end user will be wait for the 2 to 3 times. After that, he is moving upon to the other thing. So where the mistake is happened by the manual error. Okay, maybe we are not doing the purposefully the course of action, but the thing is that it is happened because of what manually, since everything into the correlated, everything is there into the same one place. That is one of the thing. Second thing is that what, for example, your requirement is that logging to the this environment only, but instead of this I am giving the access for other things also. It's not acceptable, right? Coming to the production wise, your total work will be, let it be, I imagine the one particular guy engineer, his primary responsibility is that this is a prod environment, only he need to touch upon the prod. There is one more environment I created. This is he is supposed to work on only dev environment. There is one more environment will be there. It is for the only for the test environment is there. But the problem here is that all three guys are using the same ESXi. All three guys are using the same ESXi. So if there is a sum of operation they perform on top of this, okay, so instead of along with his access, have the other 2 3 access also which is not related. So that is one kind of the violation. It going to be unnecessarily bring up the issues. To overcome that one, what the people are doing, every quarterly, every monthly, they are working on auditing on access part. For example, whatever the access you have, everything they are going to validate with your manager. For example, let it be this Ram will be having these are the access. Okay, he is having the access on the dev environment, he is having the access on the prod environment, he is having the access on the test environment. Okay, so these are the access he is having. So can we give the access to him? what is his primary responsibility? They are going to collect all the information. So in that based off auditing, your manager mentioned that he's a primarily for the development. You don't need the testing and the production. Immediately this access will be revoked. This access will be revoked automatically. For example, if this access is not revoked, means what exactly going to be happen? This will going to be maybe not today, some other day, it will going to be mess up the situation. So that is one of the area. So due to this, to avoid these situations, what we are using the weak spear client mechanism. So this weak spear client mechanism dedicatedly working for the particular VCSA. For example, here I am creating one VCSA. Here I am creating one vSphere client. Here I am creating vSphere client. So the primary responsibility is that once we created the vSphere client, so the client mechanism once we created, we will have a control. We have a control on the things, and we can create and we can allow and deny users. We can control on the mechanism of servers and the user administration, not only at one. It's a primarily dedicated to particular. It's a dedicated to particular ECSA only. It's not list out other VCSA. So as I said, so this particular guy will be have the access for the dev only. So whoever have the dev access, whoever the responsible authorized person, he can log into the particular VCS, means vSphere client, and he can perform the actions accordingly based on his access and environment. For example, so in these things, it's a very clear that, for example, if something is done by the some one person on which data center, that is one of the thing. And the second thing is that if you think from the client end, there is no need of confusions. Prod one VCSA, dev one VCSA, and test one ECSA. And moreover, this will be totally administration block. It is not giving the other chances to the anyone, only some set of L3, L4, L5 or architect or a client, only some set of the persons only. This environment will be allocating to the based on your operations. The allocation will be created and allocating the space to them. So this is the way how we are creating the vSphere client. So that is vSphere client is one of the major object, and it will be very useful for the day-to-day regular operations. Okay. So coming to the why data center. First of all, before data center, we'll go with the cluster. Why we need a cluster? Okay. So if you go here, so let me open here. So this is the my vSphere client overview. Here you can see that this is my primary IP, whatever the things I allocated. Okay, and here you can see that everything will be listing out here. These are the number of the VMs, how many VMs we are having, and what are the data centers we are having. Everything it is listing out. Okay, and coming to here, this will be list out of the capacity of the things and all, how much it is there, and here this is will be listing out my network. So ultimately this phase will be listing out the information of my resources, hard disk, virtual servers, network, everything it will be listing out here. For example, let me see that here. First of all, whenever we are logging to this particular V client in production environment also, usually what the people will do, we are going over there and we are searching for our client. Let it be test, some of the server is down or some of the things are happened. So automatically what you people are doing, immediately let it be just VCSA test is not there. So you people are searching for the VCSA particular client or particular server and you are performing the operations. It is taking time. So for example, since it is I have the very less servers, it will going to be list out here. Okay, so particular vCenter we can able to launch the console. We can able to, you can see that this is my console view of particular server VCSA 00123, and you can see that here what is the number of which is connected and what is the capacity of CPU, memory, RAM, everything it is displaying. Okay, so the view will be displaying in such a way that the summary will be displaying of all the server related information, maybe the purpose and hardware and each and everything it will be listing out. Okay, means what is the hardware capacity, the and what is related cluster information, what is the network and what is the data store it is storing, what is the cluster information, everything the peripheral and hardware related information will be listing out here, and here it will be listing out of other information also like tax information, everything it will be listing out. If you go into the monitoring, okay, the monitoring will be displaying of the information of the particular server. Okay, the server will be what exactly the things are there. For example, what are the events are there, what are the tasks are there, okay, what is the virtualizations are there. So in the same way how it is there into the ESX, in the same way we can able to perform the actions here. And the configurations also, usually the monitoring team will be, they are closely working on this monitoring phase. They are connecting their monitoring tools, for example Nagios, Nginx, okay, for example HPOV, Jabax. These are different type of the free source and some of the paid versions of the monitoring tool will be there. That monitoring tool they are connecting to these events, means whenever they are getting the events, let it be server is down, service is down, or particular file system is 100% full, immediately they will create the alerts on top of that. Nothing but only they will create a tickets by using the service now, Jira, Remedy. Okay, so whatever may be the ticketing tool, they will create a ticket and they will assign to the respective teams. Whether you are getting the warning, whether you are getting the error, or based on the number of attempts. For example, if you are getting that more than 5 seconds, alert is there for more than 5 seconds, more than 30 minutes, more than 1 hour. Based on the issue, they are going to create a one separate particular alert mechanism like a severity 1, severity 2, severity 3, something they are creating and they are allocating to the environment. So this is totally about the monitoring team. They will perform, they will act accordingly. So the configuration will be, what exactly the configuration? The configuration will be defining you that particular VM, the capacity managements. Okay, for example here, what are the configuration will be listing out here, and what are the options like alarms, what are there. Okay, so each and everything it will be listing out here. Okay, and any schedules tasks are there. Right now if you want to schedule anything like a power on schedule, power off schedule, okay, and the restart, for example, most of the times some of the clients, there one of the major aspect is that every Saturday Sunday they want to shut down the server. Okay, so what they will do, they are going for the shutdowning of the server by hourly, weekly, everything selecting. For example, after vCenter startup, power on, or for example you want to schedule the thing hourly, how much hours you need to take, weekly how many hours you need to mention it. Okay, which days you need to be power on, which days you need to be power off. So this is especially for the non-production environments. Non-production environments means, for example, you are using the test environment, you are using the development environment. Okay, if we are keep on owning the resources unnecessarily, it's a power cost only, right? They don't want to go with the switch on the resources unnecessarily without any remediation. So that is the reason what the people are doing every Saturday, Sunday, every holidays. Okay, they are scheduling the mechanism and they will shut down the servers on particular week. And you need to mention if anything end is there means when you need to start, when you need to end. So this is the usually people are going to shut down every Friday night and Monday morning, early morning or something, or based on their business, they will switch on the server. Means this, once this task is completed, it will come to the previous phase. Previous phase means it will power on the server. Means they are going to create a one more factor of okay how to start, how to on. So this is a very useful whenever the cost remediations. So the cost remediation majorly in the interview questions also they will ask you that okay how you will give the cost remediation to the your infrastructure. So this type of the questions they will ask you. So one is that the cost remediation will be happening in the two ways. One is that first one is that existing environment wherever we have the loopholes, wherever we have the priority less things. So we need to be concentrating on that one. For example, which I need to be prioritized, which I can able to manage, which I don't want to prioritize those things. These are the segregations I need to be work upon. In prioritization also, which one is the severity one, which one is the second priority, which one is the third priority, I need to make clear instruction from the client and we are going to work upon. So once based on that, I am going to suggest to the client, okay, let it be we are working on test environment, we are having the some 1,000 servers. This 1,000 servers, every Saturday, Sunday, none of the engineer will be available, no action will be we are performing. Simply we are starting on the server means, see server side it will be nothing will be happen, RAM will be idle, CPU will be idle. But just think of that, okay, what is that? The CPU once the server is on means the entire power also will be consuming, right? And the second thing is that the monitoring guys and some of the like air condition everything will be going to be consumption only. So if you shut down on weekend, okay, it will be help you out to cost reduction. Means per month 8 days we are shut downing the servers, 22 days only it is running. So we can avoid this 8 days of expenditure. That is also one of the saving only. No need to go to the profit. At least if you save the whatever we have or we are priorities proactively using it, that's more than enough to moving upon. Here what I'm doing here, I'm proving with the customization of existing infrastructure, not only into the CPU shutdowns, okay, any application shutdowns or reduction of the memory. For example, let it be, okay, maybe your server capacity is usually let it be some 32 GB and 500 GB hard disk is running upon, or you added some extra space. So once your work is done, maybe after some time if nothing is there you can free up the resources. Why you need to hold for such a long time? If it's a need, if we have a business justification, we can move upon. So this is the first level of suggestion, nothing but existing environment we need to customize and we need to remediate accordingly. So here we can reduce the unnecessary expenses and we can avoid the unnecessary risk also. Okay, second thing is that upgradation of the infrastructure. Upgradation of the infrastructure means what? For example, let it be I'm having all the physical servers. Okay, as I said you earlier, I'm having all the physical servers. I'm not in a position to use my infrastructure properly. So what I'm going to do it, let it be I will go to the at least Vmware or at least AWS. So by that I can make use of existing resource full-fledgedly. Full-fledgedly I can use the resources where I can perform the lot of actions accordingly. For example, whenever I'm using, that time only I'm going to pay it. Okay, whenever you are going to the VMware environment, one physical bare metal. You can create a number of virtual servers that will help you out to resource utilization and resource expansion dynamically. Means I don't want to be existing one only. I'm using the 100% effort. So that is one of the major advantages into the real time. So this is a kind of upgradation. If someone is ask you for the questions also, you need to give the explanation in the scenario based. Means this is the my infrastructure, these are the solution I give. And the second thing is that this is the my infrastructure, this is the one we need to give it. So this will help you out to the interviewer can think upon, okay, these guys have the good analysis on the root level. For example, Ram, you are good into the DC level, right? Okay, in DC level you can judge a lot of things, right? For example, a hardware achana, a hardware, instead of HP we can go with IBM, instead of this one we can go with something. So you are in a position to give the suggestions also, right? You need to highlight that one, Ram, into the interviews. You got my point? Okay, not
Yes.
only the questions. For example, Ram, if server is down, क्या करेगा तो? Okay, if the server is down, I'm going to the console, I'm just dumping. Oh, this is the regular questions. But now you are one of the kind of architect level. Means you know the hardware level, you know the software level, and you know the Windows flaws also. Okay, so what exactly the issue here? Whether we can get it better performance, what are the hardwares we can use it, okay, and what are the problematics and what are the advantages? Those things you need to highlight into the interviews. That will give a lot of impression, and people will you give the better activities also. Okay, in interviews, it's my suggestion, try to concentrate on these areas. Okay, these areas is a very important to concentrating upon. It will help you to expand the resources, and these are the things I given a suggestion. How it will be with my effort, how the company will be benefited by hiring me. They will be benefiting 1 rupee. That is also benefit only, right? So you need to highlight that one, Ram. Just practice that one. Okay, so let me go to the permissions. And in configuration we have the some other things also, like a policies also. The policies exactly, again every time we are defining you that. Okay, every company will be have the some set of the policies will be there. Okay, so here coming to the VMware side also, if you want to do the any policy changes, we can perform into the this area. So this is a totally we are calling as taking care of the asset management. The asset management team will be they are working upon, or in some of the companies build a team, there is some sort of the teams they are dedicatedly working on these areas. Okay, so usually the admin guys won't be touching upon the policies until unless that is needed, because we don't know about the internally why they created, what is the purpose of that and everything. Okay, so here we can able to perform the activities, which one we need to give it, okay, what are the permissions. Okay, so nothing but simply the policies any changes means we can perform by using the these changes. And for example, guest also, whether if you want to authenticate any guest user, okay, so which guest so which guest you are able to authenticate and what are the privileges. Okay, so those are the things you can validate here. Right now the server is an orphan set, means shutdown state, so that is the reason it's not taking anything. Means the this privilege will help you out to create and allocation of particular, okay, any guest user maps, anything if we created means that particular user we can perform here. Okay, and the second thing is that permissions. So this permission table will help you out to if you want to give the privileges to the some set of the people, for example, if you join to the any company, okay, there is one company is there, you recently you joined. So once you join the company, immediately you won't get access to the infrastructure, right? First of all, what they will do, they will create a one user ID. The one user ID they will create and they will allocate to the some set of the members. Okay, so particular user ID they are going to provide a access. Maybe you are the part of the particular user ID, or if you want to perform the some kind of access, for example, read access, write access, or whatever may be the access, it will going to be listed out here. Okay, means privileges we are adding to the accordingly. It's loading. So the privileges we are going to add nothing but usually whenever joining any company, they are going to specify this. Okay, this particular person will be need of access of administration access, or this guy is a need of view access. This guy is something need of any virtual sample user, or based on this will be define you that which part you will be. Otherwise, for example, no read only, no access, okay, data store consumption. Okay. So this access will define you that they are presenting this UAM operation will be allocating. For example, whatever the user. So whatever the user or domain, particularly whoever using this domain, everyone will be using the admin access. For example, everyone will be having the read only access. Okay, so propagate to children also means automatically it will reflect into the already that subdomains also. For example, whenever you are logging to this vCenter, you are logging with your user ID at the rate of your domain. So in such a way, it will be reflecting to the whoever they using the hello.
Yes, sir.
You are saying something?
Yes, no.
Okay, okay. So whenever you are trying to log in, if you are using the particular domain means you will be getting the particular access. So we are giving the privileges to the particular access. Okay, just I'm mentioning that whoever having the access or whatever the access will be there, just I'm segregating, I'm allocating the access part to the particular users. So usually this task will be taken care by the most of the times our user management team or SecOps team. So user creation will be happening based upon their validation. Validation in the sense, okay, what are the operations will be there? Okay, what are the things will be there? Whether this guy is properly have access. Literally, they do have the access to the environment. Everything they are going to judge upon. Everything they are going to be judged, and everything based on that only they are going to allocate the access. Okay, so this is the way how they are allocating the access to the simply to the users. For example, if you want to anything modify also, instead of admin, okay, they are going to change it to the other users also. For example, earlier you have admin access, but whenever the admin means security team checking with your manager, they clearly mention that okay, Ram is having the admin access, but he don't need any admin access. Read access is more than enough. So obviously, immediately what exactly they will do? They will change your user ID or particular domain, whoever they are using. Okay, they make it as a read or view access or something like that. Once it's a click on view access, you can able to do the servers, but you cannot take the any kind of the modifications into the server. Servers modification is not possible. Just once you click OK, automatically it will be reflecting the chances, nothing but whatever the things are there, particular domain, all the things will be changing upon. So these alarms, data stores. So the data store, again the storage area of the particular server, okay, it will list you out the what are the data store we are using from the ESXi. And so if for example you are not able to take the snapshot or you are not able to perform any kind of the operations, what the immediate action admin guy will ask you that which data store you are using. So if you want to know that data store means which hard disk or LUN or something you are using. Immediately if you come to the data stores, it will list you out for this server how many data stores or how many data stores are available, and which data store is functioning, what is the type of the file, what is the capacity, and what is the free. Everything it will be listing out into the here. So in this way we are able to perform and pull up the information. Okay, and this is related to the network. So the network phase will be again the same thing. For example, most of the times whenever we are into the production environment, okay, whenever they are performing any kind of activity into the data center or any kind of the migration activities, usually the VLANs will be changing, the ports will be changing, or firewall will be corrupting, or any kind of activities happen means immediately what they will do, first section is that okay, they want to understand that which particular network things are affected or which series are affected, they are going to check upon. So this all series have the which network. Okay, in a specific network is nothing but New York or New Jersey or particular any specific network is there, everything they are going to validate into the by using the here you will get the information of particular network related information will be listing upon here. If you want to means still if you want to pull up means everything we can pull up. So updates, so updates is reflecting upon for this particular server or for this particular operating system is any specific updates are there. For example, we are having our phones. Okay, so our phones are there, our versions are there. Okay, so I will show you that how to do the enabling and also okay, and how to do the this certification also I will help you out. Okay, for example, whenever we are performing any kind of activity, whenever we are performing any kind of upgradation activity, immediately what we are going to do it. So always Windows also we are keep on checking what are the updates are there, means any latest version, latest package, latest anything are there. Immediately based on the updates only what we are going, we are planning accordingly patching activity. So this update will help you out to what are the things are updates are there, and what is the it will help you out, everything it will be listing out into the environment side. Okay, so if you come, yeah, tell me.
No, it's okay.
So this is about like a start and stop and the console. For example, right now, let me move to here. Web console. The console. So this is a totally operating system information, the primary information, and this is the capacity of my particular VM I allocated. Okay, and these are the hardware and network information, everything. So you can see that the operating system is Linux. So simply I install the, this is a generally view of the ESXi. If you want to perform any kind of activities, I can able to perform here. And this is for the, if you want to do the any changes, I can do the changes into the here. Okay, for example, I want to increase the RAM, I want to increase the policy. Okay, I want to do the changes into the any kind of notations policies level or anything, everything related to this VM. For example, you want to make it from the 2 to 3, or you want to make it a 14 to okay, or minimum whether in GB or TB MB. Okay, and the SCSI is there. Earlier it was connected to only disk only, but host only, store ISO, content ISO. So which ISO is we need to connect. So if you want to do the any kind of modification related to the server, everything will be listing out. Everything will be listing out to the here. So this is the way how we can touch upon the network side. So here this is something about the snapshots. Okay, for example, you want to take the snapshot of the things, or you want to perform the any kind of snapshots we can able to list out here. In actions, click on actions. 1 minute. So if you click on the snapshot, it will prompt you to take the snapshot, whether including the date and the time snapshot. Okay, so the date and time snapshot it will list out, and what is the purpose of that snapshot. Okay, whether maybe you are using for any change purpose, or usually we are adding the change number, server number, service numbers we are adding over there. So automatically it will start the particular services or servers automatically. Okay, so that is basically how we are creating. So coming to our basic example, the clusters. So why we are creating the cluster? Any idea, Ram?
No.
So okay, but in your environment, what is your setup? Nothing but you people are on VMware. You people are created the servers or anything?
And all are physical servers.
Okay, all are physical servers. On top of physical servers.
The network cluster is there.
Okay, network cluster is there. Okay, so the cluster will help you out here also. How your network cluster also how it will be working. Let it be. There is creating the 2-3 layers, right? One cluster, 2 cluster, 3. If any particular chances this cluster is down, automatically it will take you the responsibility. It will run the show. There is internally connecting in between one server to other server. The connectivity will be there. In the same way here also, if you want to perform any kind of the mechanism, what we will do, first of all, I'm creating the cluster. Inside a cluster, okay, so coming to here, whenever we are performing any kind of the activity, the ESXi we are managing into the cluster. First we are creating. First of all, why we are creating the cluster? So the cluster first we will create. On inside we are creating the data centers. Okay, so for example, what is the purpose of that? If any case this data center inside we are creating the virtual machines. Inside we are creating the virtual machines. So coming to the real time, okay, so the outer line is a cluster. Okay, so this interline so the interline will be the data centers. Okay, so this one is the nodes or VMs. So for example, in one particular VCSA we are creating the like a number of clusters also we can able to create it based on the your particular bandwidth. So for example, if any case this particular VM, okay, if you giving the any policies, you can do the migration, or it will be synced up with the data centers, or it will be synced up with the other clusters also, especially whenever we are performing the DR activities, whenever we are performing any specific maintenance activities, that time it will be very useful. The cluster mechanism will help you to load balancing and any kind of the migration activities. It will help you to enhance the resources, and dynamically we can move it, and we can perform the activities into the very easily. So for example, here the way how we are creating means, so in my example, let it be I'm just created multiple things and delete the things. Just right click on that one. Okay, So here you will get options called like a data center, okay, new folder, export system block, assign a license, and tag your assign a tags for the identification purpose, or any permissions, alarms, update manager. Update manager is something we are using for the especially for the patching related stuff. If you want to perform any kind of the patching, any kind of the pre-remediations, whenever in the moment of the time we are creating the those environment. For example, let it be I'm going with a okay, let it be I'm going with the data centers. I'm just creating the one small data center. Let it be I'm creating the Mumbai DC. I'm just creating the Mumbai DC. So this is the particular host. Okay, 192.168.31.20. It is a by default. It is existed because right now I'm performing my operations on particular this VCSA 192.168.31.20. So this 31.20 is the my primary VCSA. By default I don't have any option because I am dedicatedly working on that inside of area only. So by default it is enabled. I won't get any chance to change it. So based on the customer need, we have to select the okay, you have to select the what exactly the your data center name. Just you can create it automatically. It will create the data center. So this data center, as I said you earlier in my previous example, the client will be having data centers. For example, they are having like a Tokyo, New York, New Jersey, and in my example let it be is okay, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi. Let it be in India. We are having the three data centers will be there. These the client placing the name convention by using this one like a Mumbai, Delhi, and a Chennai or whatever may be. So it is easily for the identification. You can see that here there is a Mumbai data center will be there. Okay, so this Mumbai data center, so the Mumbai data center will be representing of all the Mumbai related agent or particular application. For example, in real time how it will be happening. Okay, they are placing all Mumbai data center will be, let it be production Bangalore, and Mumbai will be the testing. Okay, let it be all the Delhi environment they are using for the development purpose. So whenever you are referring any kind of the server with the name convention BG, you can easily understand that okay, that is related to the production. So I can make myself prioritizing to the users, stating that if you receive the any alerts, any kind of course of actions related to the production, it should be severity 1. Means you need to be act upon immediately. For example, if you're receiving any kind of action to the development, okay, maybe you can go with the second priority. You need to act upon, but SLA limits will be little bit changes. Instead of 1 hour, within 2 hours you need to be sorted out. And the third action will be this one. For example, whenever you are performing a test environment, okay, this is not a prioritized, you can go with the severity 5. So in this way, in real time also they are creating the options, nothing but the severity tickets whatever we are receiving, right? Severity 1, severity 2, severity 3, they are creating the tickets also. How the severity tickets are creating based on the infrastructure establishment, how the infrastructure is there, how it is established. Based on that they are going to establish the particular things. So coming to here, Mumbai data center is there. So this particular data center they created, they set up the things and all. Okay,
But before creating a data center, we need to create first the cluster. Then in top of the cluster, we create the data center, and within the data center, we'll create the nodes or VMs.
here so we have both options. So for example, in this phase, Okay, for example, in the 8x version and all, we have a cluster also we can create in starting itself. So here we are creating the data center inside
So
that
how to
cluster
create
we are
the how
creating.
to create the
For,
cluster first?
yeah, yeah. So cluster inside, I said you right. Whenever we are creating any kind of infrastructure, okay, whether you are creating the cluster mechanism outer layer or you can create a data center inside of the data center, you can create the clusters also, we can do it. Again, if you want to create, you can create a inside of separate data center, we can create it. This is also we can do it into the some of the latest versions, we can do it. Means the thing is that ultimately whenever you are the cluster mechanism majorly for using for the load balancing or migration, it will be sync up. For that one only we are using the cluster mechanism. Okay, so the data center will be for the using for the segregation purpose, administration purpose, and managing. So here we are going with the first DC, then we are going with a cluster. Okay, then we are going with a server, like this we are going. So this is the totally my data center configuration. Okay, so you can see that here number of VMs and everything. Right now I'm not having anything. Okay, this is a totally dashboard of the my particular thing under. Okay, whether I have any particular hardware information, everything it will be listing out here. So let me enable this one. I enable. Okay, and this about the totally particular data center monitoring will be listing out here. Okay, so as I said you earlier, so how it will be listing out to the normal server, in the same way it will be listing out. But one thing is that you can see that here the host and the clusters, the host and the clusters also there is a two tabs will be listing out here. Okay, the host and the clusters, and first of all, right now I don't have anything, that is the reason it's not listing out. Let me go to the VMs. So the VM phase will be listing out here what are the things are there. Okay, whatever the VMs are there, whatever the VM folders are there, virtual apps are there, virtual templates are there, virtual missions are there, everything they are related to the my virtual server, everything it will be listing out here. For example, if you want to perform cluster mechanism, I am going with a, whether you can go for the creation of the host also, whether you can create a cluster also. For example, okay, you can see that these are the number of the options it will be listing out here. You can do migrate also, migrate the VM to the another network. From means you are migrating from here to another also, we can able to migrate, that is also happening. But make sure that that will be have the some sort of the conditions will be there. Okay, it should be supposed to be into the specific network or specific things we need to be accordingly we need to be act upon. So coming to here, I am going with the cluster. Okay, let it be this is my cluster name Mumbai DC. Okay, let it be I am creating the new cluster. So this is a cluster is simply added. Okay, this is the location of the cluster Mumbai DC. So this is by default it is taken because we are performing all the operations onto the Mumbai DC only, that is the reason it is immediately taken. Okay, and here if you want to provide any kind of the DR activities, if you want to provide any kind of the high availability activities, if you want to provide any kind of the vSAN storage activities, we can enable this one. But right now, as of now, I am not enabling, I am going with the default. In future, if you want to perform means we can enable this one from the settings also. Okay, so these are the settings. By default it will be coming, just I am defining the cluster name in particular data center, and you can see that so it is created. In the events you can list out the everything. So if you can expand here, okay, so if you can see that here Mumbai DC, inside of that Mumbai cluster is created. Okay, if you can go over there, host, and you can go to the summary. You can see that this is a data center. Okay, and right now I don't have any kind of the virtual machines. Okay, so let me create a virtual machines on the particular environment. Okay, so let me go to the monitor. What are the things are there? These are the memory and thing. Okay, host. It's loading.
That means now when, when we configure the vsharp vcenter, then it is not required to do anything in ESXi console. Or, yeah.
No need. We are not touching anything ESXi. See, right now whatever the performing operations, I am logged into the my ESXi. No, right? So I am working on only on this particular VCSA only, vSphere only, right? 31.20 is, I mentioned that 31.20 is dedicatedly for the Mumbai region. Okay, like 31.25 let it be I am using for the Delhi region. Okay, like a 31.40 is located for the Bangalore region. So what I'm doing right now, I am working on this area only. I mentioned that okay, there is a one person will be there. His responsibility is that create a infrastructure on Mumbai region, create a infrastructure on Bangalore region, create a infrastructure on Delhi region. So your action will be what? Every day you are coming, you are browsing the server or browsing the particular IP. Inside of that, you are creating the data centers, you are installing the apps, you are installing some patching, whatever may be the operation end to end, you are working on this area only. You are not touching these two. So that is one of the major advantages. The diversion won't be there, right? The diversion won't be there. Whether how many data centers you are creating, that is our wish. Whatever we are creating, everything we are creating into the only into the one particular thing only, right? We are not touching the other things and all. So we are not at all touching the ESXi now. So there is no much of traffic to the ESXi, and the ESXi we are only using for the purpose of administration activities. For example, this server we are not able to log in. Means the let it be this entire service is down, or this is having some memories. For example, let it be this is a storage. Okay, the storage capacity. Okay, this storage capacity is let it be, you can see that here this is the my memory consumption. I want to increase the memory, I want to increase the storage, I want to increase the space. In that time only where I can increase, from the admin tool only. In that time I'm coming here. Okay, so I am performing the operations from the like how we are performing into the VM settings. In VM settings, I'm adding the space, I'm adding the memory, I'm adding the some kind of operations from there. So only administration activities only. That is the reason ESXi will be allocating to the only some set of the people, not everyone. Only some set of the people means only for the set of the respective people who are into L3, L4 architects or the server owners or the client executive. Few persons only they can perform this one. It is a kind totally admin related activity. That is the reason I said you right. The command line and all we are able to perform it here very easily. But when you are going to the production environment, we are not touching the command line for the ESXi. It is only there for the few set of the things, and that is the reason specific type of activities only we are performing into the ESXi. And not only that one, if you can see that also in ESXi, SS enable also not advisable. Okay, you will see the some of the pop-ups here sometimes. Okay, you can see that for example, by default it is a disable. For example, enable, right now it is enable. If you want to disable means I can disable. Most of the times it will be into the disable state only. We are not allowing anyone, and if needed also with business justification only we can able to log in. We are not able to perform any kind of activity. For example, in my example, you can see that this particular VCSA is there. For this VCSA, I am facing some memory issue. If you want to perform any kind of peripheral activities on particular 20 in the sense this 20, okay, this particular VCSA, then only I am logging to the ESXi, and here I am performing the changes. Apart from that, I am not doing any kind of other activities. You got my point? Okay. So here let it be. So
So
Mumbai
all
data
the
center.
each data center we need to allocate. We need to mention the separate IPs, or we can log in each data center with the same IP, because this is the Mumbai DC. If I create the Bangalore DC, then the IP will be same.
IP will be the same only. See, we are we are saying. Let it be. See, since I am working on the test environment, I created a multiple data centers. Okay, but usually in production centers, is they are creating the like this. What they will do in Mumbai data center only, let it be they are creating the two areas. Nothing but, for example, customer care or production. They will use the name convention like this. For Bangalore data center, they will go with the like a payments or dispatch. Okay, the DC name will be they are placing like this. Okay, name convention just simply we are mentioning as a Mumbai DC and all, just for the understanding only. Whenever they need to perform any activity, they are going with this particular IP. Okay, they want to go this IP, and related to this, they want to perform the activities on the particular set of particular zoning. Okay. So here in Mumbai, so whatever the things are it is created. So here in this way we are able to performing the activities on the cluster mechanism. Okay, so right now simply I am creating a cluster here. We close it here.
Cluster mechanism means load balancer.
The load
Suppose
balancing.
in my app, suppose in the data in the Mumbai data center, so two servers are there, and two servers is application server, and another server is there. This is a database server. Okay, so
Yeah.
both application server, one is the active or passive mode. So maybe it is the active passive cluster, or maybe the load balancer cluster. So it is automatically created, or we have to create the cluster as per our requirement, that the two application server is the load balancer, and another two database server is the active passive mode cluster. What type of cluster is configured in particular this Mumbai data center? It is automatically created, or we have to create manually?
Yeah, you are referring about
Cluster
cluster
mechanism.
mechanism.
Okay.
So you are referring about cluster mechanism, nothing but like a primary server, secondary, active, passive, or those areas. That is a cluster mechanism. But this cluster will be defining you that, for example, you can see that here. These options are there, right? DR activities. WISPR DR activities means if you want to perform any activities into the disaster recovery, transferring of the data, sync up, and the second thing is that high availability. For example, you want to go with a cluster mechanism, whatever you said, you right, active, passive, you need to enable here. And the storage level also we are doing, means server level, okay, and the services level. Third thing is the storage level. Okay, so these things and all we have to define it here at the time of creation. Okay, so this will be totally depending upon your infrastructure. For example, the cluster is looking for that, okay, so only for the purpose of testing purpose, or only for the purpose of any kind of modification. In that time, it is a test environment, means they are not going with that things. If you are there performing for the any kind of additional activities, for example production environment, then because based on the consumption, based on the services whatever we are taking, the operations also will increase, right? So that is the reason you can see that here Mumbai I created two clusters, a cluster 1, cluster 2. So simply, probably cluster 1 I'm using for the payment related stuff. Cluster 2 I'm using for the purpose of any kind of other activities. Let it be customer related activities or storage activity, maybe DR activity I'm doing. So for example, you can see that every cluster will be again holding of particular servers. Again, what I am doing next, I am creating the particular servers. I am going to create it into the particular environment. Okay, just I am creating the host over there. Okay, so whatever the host I am giving,
Host means VMs.
Host in the sense VMs, 192.168. Let it be 31.45 I have given. Okay, and username. So what I'm going to here now, so here I'm creating the VMs on top of the clusters. So once we created the clusters on top of that, dynamically we can perform the changes. Nothing but we can expand, we can do the changes. Okay, we can do the all the kind of administration activity like a DR activities, high availability activities. Okay, those kind of activities we can perform upon. Okay, let me simply given again. So this is the, okay, simply I'm taking this 10 and it is loading. So in this way, we are creating the, okay, virtual machine on top of the my environment. Okay, so the virtual machines will be, it will take you some time to reflect the things, the loading will be happening. Okay, so this is the way in your production environment also. This is the way. For example, usually we are getting any kind of issues. So let it be, every cluster will be having some set of the servers. Okay, like maximum like a 10 servers, 15 servers, 100 server, whatever may be. Immediately what I'm doing, let it be I receive the alert for the any one of the server, let it be test server or any one of the server with the IP, with the name. I'm searching, I need to perform the any kind of operations. Nothing but I'm searching for the on particular area, whether I need to reboot the server, whether I need to expand the server, or whatever may be the operation I'm going to be taken upon. So this is the way how we are performing the operations into the cluster, nothing but data centers. You
No,
have any
it's
doubts?
okay. Create a VM within the Mumbai data center, Mumbai cluster.
It's looking very low. Yeah. One minute, it's loading. Okay, you can select here anything, whatever it may be, whether you want to create a new cluster, any new server, virtual machine from the template, or any existing template, or any whatever the template, whether from the previous templates, otherwise you want to create with a new one. So right now I'm selecting with a create with a new one, select and give the name. Usually in office environment everything will be there like that, like an app, VM, whether it's a Linux or Windows, MUM, for example Mumbai 01. This type of the name convention will be there. We can easily identify that if it is a MUM, so it is related to the Mumbai. And here you need to make sure that it is selecting we are creating on this particular data center. That particular data center will be reflecting here. So select the cluster DR mode. Okay, here DR mode we haven't selected. Okay. So, and whatever the data storage, I select the data storage. And the second thing is that the capacity, whatever the ESXi, for example, any specific say there, you have to be select here. But right now I'm working with a 6x version, 6.7. Okay, same thing, only it's reflecting. And the operating system. So what exactly the operating system it is there, whether you are selecting Windows or Linux, whatever it may be, this operating system we need to select. Right now I don't have the operating system in my data store. So where you need to take the, I will show you how to pull the particular image from the operating system. So again, these are the virtual capacity, but I don't have this much of the capacity. I will give the 10. Okay, hard disk, and the memory also 4 GB instead of 4 GB, or you can go with whatever the data capacity. Okay, everything we need to be check it out, whether majorly CPU, memory, hard disk, and the next. And this is a VM total configuration. Click on OK. So here the VM will be created. Okay, let me list out here. You can see that here the VMs are created. It is listing out here, and by default right now it is in power on state. I power on that one. Okay, so this one is right now in power off state. If you want to click on this one, automatically it will list you out the server information, but right now it is not having the any kind of operating system, so probably it won't be power on. Okay, first of all we need to give the DNS information, IP information. With the operating system we need to be load, then only I am able to access the particular service. So right now I am not having any operating system on that particular VM, so that is the reason I am not able to perform the any kind of activity as of now on particular VM. So if you want to perform it, I need to install the operating system, I need to install the DNS, and I need to install the gateways, everything, how we are going to create any server, what are the basic configuration will be there, I need to allocate it along with ISO image. Then I need to perform the installation of applications. Okay. So this is a way in production environment we will be there. Okay. Any
No,
doubts?
it's okay.
So, but the thing is that it's totally memory stuff you are seeing, right? It's already reached to the bottleneck. Entirely it is eaten. So 12 GB I given, but entirely it is taken for